So, um, Wednesday, Tuesday, I don't fucking know. Donald Trump announced his 20 or so picks for or potential judge nominations. And while in a little bit we're going to be talking about um, what is what is time? What? I'm confused. Oh, never mind. Sorry, I'm not confused. I'm just stupid. um, any rate, so yeah, woo, fun times. Yeah. Any rate, so um, he announced his 20 or so picks, and it was a pretty bog standard list of picks that I want to go over the list. But first, I wanted to take a minute and talk about uh, some of the questions he fielded after the press conference happened, and why don't we go ahead instead of before I start really diving into this? Why don't we just go ahead and watch this together?
Question?
Having spoken to these candidates, can you address the concerns from the Woodward book in regard to whether did you mislead the public?
That was really quiet. I'm going to.
Question?
Having spoken to these candidates, can you address the concerns from the Woodward book in regard to whether did you mislead the public by saying that you downplayed the coronavirus and that you repeatedly did that in order to reduce panic? Did you mislead the public?
Well, I think if
So-
you say
The question is can he address the concerns in the Bloomberg book? I don't know what the Bloomberg book is. Probably the newspaper that he knew the risks associated to COVID and he intentionally downplayed those risks. That was something that was revealed, and it's hard to hear because it's really quiet.
said in order to reduce panic, perhaps that's so. The fact is, I'm a cheerleader for this country. I love our country. And I don't want people to be frightened. I don't want to create panic, as you say. And certainly, I'm not going to drive this country or the world into a frenzy. We want to show confidence. We want to show strength. We want to show strength as a nation. And that's what I've done. And we've done very well. We've done well from any standard. You look at our numbers compared to other countries, other parts of the world. It's been an amazing job that we've done. I think it's very sad in many respects because the incredible individuals working so hard on it, including our vice president, they've done this great job. They haven't been acknowledged by the news media, and they should, for the job we've done, whether it's ventilators, and now you'll see very soon with vaccines and with therapeutics. The job we've done has been incredible. But we don't want to instill panic. We don't want to jump up and down and start shouting that we have a problem that is a tremendous problem, scare everybody. And I'll tell you the other thing, we immediately started buying all over the world. We started buying masks and gowns and everything else. And we don't want to cause pricing to go up to a level that becomes almost unaffordable. So, yeah, in that sense, I agree with it. Yeah, please.
How do you reassure the American?
Now, that was him directly admitting that he knew, and he, of course, lied. And I'm not saying that to be like super reductive, but what I am saying is that he said, for a means to reduce panic, I intentionally held back the truth. And then he had a bunch of other lies in there about how well we're doing, which we're doing fucking awful, in case you were curious. Like, we're absolutely doing fucking awful. I think no one would think that's a hot take. Well, Trump and reactionaries might, but we're doing fucking terrible. There's still people getting sick. We're leaning back on restrictions. Where I live, our governor said we're going to basically drop all restrictions. So, that's fucking wonderful. But he openly admitted and owning up to the fact that he knew, as we all knew he knew, and he was briefed in, because a lot of other people knew just because we were. I was one of the people that were. I was watching this as it was developing. I remember when it was still 5,000 people in China had this, and I was like, this is something to be concerned about. Relatively speaking, 3% is not a huge death toll, especially for how deadly and dangerous this is. But that's still a large number when you consider people. like that's still a big thing. That's still a very, very big thing, especially when you consider if the flu is like maybe 1/10 of that. And you know, like, so you had people all over the world who knew what was happening, and Trump knew as early as like beginning of February or something, and he was still like, meh, I'm not gonna do anything about it. Meh, whatever, not a big deal. Like yeah. Plus, all the people on cases not counted because there's people who are not getting tested because they don't think they're sick, you know, or the people that are not testing because our testing capabilities were so small for a very large point in time, or the fact that not all of our tests are accurate. So he knew, but he was like, no, I'm not gonna tell. I'm not gonna cause, because he said I'm downplaying COVID to not cause a panic. And the best analogy, the one I've seen, is if there's a fire, to not cause a panic, you calmly and tell people that they need to head to the nearest exit. And, you know, you don't say it in a screaming manner. You just stand and just, I need you to calmly leave the building. There's a fire. Don't panic. Don't rush. We'll all get out in an orderly fashion. You don't pretend there's no fire. Like, because all pretending no fire is going to do is just going to get more people to panic. Because then they're going to say, oh my God, there was a fire here this whole time. Like, holy shit. Yeah. So let's watch the rest of this clip, because I'm just curious what this is.
American public going forward that they can trust what you're saying.
Well, I think that's
So
really
how can the American public going forward trust what he's saying? Long story short, you can't. You never could. But yeah, let's listen.
part of trust. We have to have leadership. We have to show leadership. And the last thing you want to do is create a panic in the country. This was a horrible thing. It was sent to us by China. Should not have happened. Should never have happened. This is a disgusting, terrible situation that was foisted upon us. And we have to show, we just don't want to use, the best word is panic. We don't want to have to show panic. We're not going to show panic. And that's exactly what I did. And I was very open, whether it's to Woodward or anybody else. It's just another political hit job. But whether it was Woodward or anybody else, you can.
Yeah, again, this is just meaningless pandering bullshit to his base. He's trying to say that, oh, we don't want to show panic and all this kind of stuff, but the issue is by not telling people, all it's going to do is cause further problems down the road, where if people understand what's going on earlier, we can at least have a minute and have a chance to prep and get ready for it. We can at least have a minute to get ready and be in a good working condition for what's going on with the very real future that we might have a widespread outbreak. And that's what he refused to do. So he absolutely knew about this. He just said, he's saying that he didn't want to cause a panic, and it's not true. He actually thought it would affect his voting. Like, and you just can't trust him. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous.